Oh God, I don't know the name of the song. Okay, what song are we opening up with? Thinking Green Day. No, it's too late. It's done now. Hey everyone, how's it going? It's I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with the VeVe, OMI, Definity, DEVVE, daCAT, DMC, SHIRO update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love y'all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, and subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon and smashing that super thanks button down below. Super chats as well. Lot going on today. And Kia Ora features David Yu, which is awesome. Let's get, for those of you that missed last night's episode and have been living under a rock, the memes are fire, but yeah, Trump campaigning on no new wars and then bombing the absolute crap out of Iran. Yeah, not something that was really on my 2025 bingo card. Of course, you have everyone on the left saying like, see, we told you. And it's like, okay, well, he didn't do any of this his first presidency. Was it for a good reason or not? I don't know. But the markets did not like that at all. They liked it a little bit yesterday. As soon as the bombs went off, things went up. And Bitcoin went under 99,000 today. What was Bitcoin at just yesterday? It was at 103 around this time, and you could see that little pick up there as soon as it happened, from 102 to 103, and then again, as you see, went down to like 98.5 today. When did it actually 98.4? So yeah, it was straight up not a good time. I don't know how many tens of thousands of dollars. I'm afraid to look. But the markets were not happy. There is, so Bitcoin down 1.5%, Ethereum down. It was weird because as of like 2 hours ago, it was down like 9% on the day. Because ETH went down to, it was up to 2,300 yesterday. It was down to 2,100 today. It's at 22.6 now, so it's technically only down 3.5%. But like I said, big not great things in the market. You had Pro the Doge, you had Ash Crypto Real, you had a bunch of people just absolutely crashing out on Twitter. Remember in that episode of Dexter when the FBI comes in because they want to get the Bay Harbor butcher and they don't trust the Miami Police Department to do it. And I forget the dude's name. Love this dude. But he comes in and Dexter says like, oh, his bees are buzzing. Something's upset the hive. Something definitely upset a bunch of people today. I got like 2 pages written in my Nike the Pig comic today because there were so many people calling and texting and saying like, hey, dude, what is going on? And I was like, irrational knee-jerk reactions to, and I can't even cover me like, hey, yeah, just a couple days until this Iran stuff blows over, because last time I said that Russia was invading Ukraine, it's like, yeah, a couple weeks, it'll be fine. 3.5 years later, we're still here. So, and that's what killed the last bull market. We were going pretty strong. Everyone speculating that we were in a super cycle, including myself. And then Russia invades Ukraine, and it's been 3 years of bear market. And gun to my head, I'm pretty sure that this is not the end of the bull market. I'm pretty sure that this is just a blip, a bump in the road. But I can't say that for sure. That's just a theory because, again, Russia, huge military superpower. Iran, not so much. So obviously there are a bit of differences. And then, again, I thought, okay, take out nuclear facilities, fine. And then Iran threatened, or they did close their whatever strait that goes in there, where like 70% of like the oil tankers pass through. And then I remember saying, okay, well, there's a lot of this stuff that goes on about oil. Trump renaming the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America, something having to do with oil. Like, anyway, I was like, okay, well, whatever country, I don't know. I acted as if this was just a blip. So when DEVVE was down like 18% today, I was like, oh, you know what? I'll go in. I got some at 35 cents. I got some at 34 cents. I thought for sure we were going to 20 cents. And then now it's back up to 37. Did I catch the bottom? I freaking hope so. Because again, there is a ton of fear in the market. I don't know how much is fear and how much is like desperation. Because people have been like wearing on this for a while. I bought more. Was it silly of me to buy more? Probably. Why do I keep doing it? I had a little bit more. Let's go over something that hasn't started yet. Let's go over DMC, DeLorean, because that is, and unfortunately, fortunately, they are launching in 2 days. I feel like the timing could not be worse. However, with so much down, maybe they become that shining light. And normally what happens when people say like, hey, my entire portfolio is red, but normally there's one or two things that are green. If DeLorean can be that one like safe haven, which again, they're doing a crazy amount of marketing. They're already on a bunch of exchanges that'll be available on Tuesday. I think 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. They should be good to go. If they can get a couple green candles, and that's the only green candles that we have. Again, it might seem like a safe haven, and then people just flock to it like, hey, this seems green, everything else is bleeding red. And I'm not saying this is a good thing to do, but people tend to sell while things are down and buy other stuff while it's up. But speaking of DeLorean Labs, they say, hey, time travelers, it's go time. On 24 June 2025 at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the DMC-based SUI network is ready to redefine the game. Why DMC? DeLorean's real-world utility vision brought to life. Why SUI? Scalable, it's ultra-fast, and built for Web3's future. Why now? Join a project delivering serious real-world impact. Mark your calendars. DMC is more than a token. It's a movement to make crypto work in the real world. Get behind the wheel and let's shape our future together. And then they have a pretty sweet pic of the, I forget the name of that clock tower, but then obviously the DeLorean, the DMC on the wheels over there. It's really cool. And there's a lot of people that are, so you have like me and a bunch of other, I guess, like normal Web3 people. But also you have a couple of people that were pretty big on here. I'm trying to find out where I found them. I guess there's Tesla news as well, and we'll get to that in a minute. Hey, time travelers. Oh, maybe I didn't. It was this one guy that had like 130-something thousand followers over on X, and they posted about it, and I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. But I don't know where he went, and maybe I screenshot it yesterday, and I didn't happen to get to it today. Either way, people with hundreds of thousands of followers are going and they're talking about it. So it's definitely getting out there. Whether people go and take that advice or not, I don't know. Yeah, I guess all right, this dude is gone. I don't know where he went. But speaking of others, oh, here it is. Bazza, aka BAZZA_aped. 134,000 followers over on X, and he is the one that reposted saying, right, I got my eyes on this one, guys. DMC on SUI chain is going to be a big one to watch this week, as these guys are cooking back end and already listed on major exchanges. The branding is amazing. The real world utility sounds amazing. Check them out, guys. Not sure where this dude is from. Apparently he's from in the trenches, but that again, they have all the right people talking about it. I don't know if I've seen other YouTubers about it, but everyone on X is talking about it. So we can only hope, right? Could the market take this down with it as soon as it launches? People dumping, sure. Or could this be, again, that shining light and it just goes nuts? Because there's very few other tokens out there that are attached to real world businesses that make money. I talk about a lot of them, but again, crypto doesn't seem to care. They don't seem to care that VeVe is like it is the largest digital collectibles platform in the world. People don't seem to care that outside of doing that, it is doing, well, last month it did over 500,000. This month, probably a couple 100,000. I haven't taken a look at it yet. I think this time next week, I'll do a quick look and be like, okay, we grossed, 250,000, 300,000, give or take. Again, I'll let you know. I have no idea if that's true or not. Speaking of which, let's take a look at OMI. And OMI is down 3% on the day, which doesn't sound terrible, but it is in the 00018s now. It's 0000184. It has touched 0000180 like 3, so very, very close to going to 0000179. In fact, I'm probably sure it was there on a random exchange. It's not right now, but when it was down to 0000180, it was probably like 0000179 on one of these places. Is that the low? Does it keep going lower? I have a couple of questions from a buddy of mine that I don't really have any good answers for, so I'll just talk them out over here and see what we're doing, and just see what you guys think. If they were to do a 5% burn and 5% Bitcoin buyback, because again, I've talked with, not anyone on VeVe, but I've talked with other business owners and other people in Web3 about this, and say like, okay, you have this altcoin, and this altcoin will do numbers. It'll go 100x, it'll do 30x, like whatever it is, right? And Bitcoin, maybe it does a 3x and goes to 300K, and I feel like that's pushing it. Most likely, I think we could all agree it'll probably do a 2x. Even go up like 80% from here, go to like 180. We all agree Bitcoin's probably going to go up and blow off top, right? I feel like there's no arguments with that. But I would say max 3x. I just don't see it going higher than 300. Like 400 would be ridiculous, and if it does, altcoins are going to go absolutely bananas. Anyway, why would anyone that has an altcoin that's probably going to outperform Bitcoin, why would they buy Bitcoin instead of having their own coin, or buying back their own token? Part of it is just for the kids back in the day. Whenever someone was debating about doing something stupid or not, they would say like, do it for the Vine, because Vine was a super viral platform years ago, like 6-second stories, right? And nowadays, like, why would a company that has an altcoin ever take any of its profits, and instead of buying back their own token, which will outperform Bitcoin, why would they buy Bitcoin? It's like, okay, why does everyone in country music thank Beyonce? Why does everyone that gets a music award thank Beyonce? Should be no reason, right? It's just that's what gets attention, and that's what gets headlines. And when you announce you're doing a Bitcoin reserve, you get Watcher Guru, you get Ash Crypto, you get a whole bunch of people that are big in crypto saying like, oh, this company's doing a Bitcoin reserve. GameStop, sure, made it, a lot of its run years back with the GameStop squeeze. But this time, it's kind of made its name back in the limelight by saying, yeah, we're going to do a Bitcoin reserve. Metaplanet, Bitcoin reserve, all these other companies doing a Bitcoin reserve. Maybe it might make sense for VeVe to go and say like, yeah, for part of our revenue, we're going to buy back some Bitcoin. Just for the headline. Burning. There has been actually quite a lot of burning this year, from the reserve wallet to the, I think 5.5 billion were burnt from the business development wallet. There's just been a lot of burns. Now with that, Dan and David used to have X amount of the token, and that percentage, even though their amount of tokens has stayed the same, the percentage got larger. I was like, okay, and they can't move it. Like, here's the issue. Like, forget for a minute that OMI on base, which is like they're like, hey, migrate all of your tokens onto base. They've been saying that for a while. Forget for a minute that it has less than 250,000. Actually, does it have 250,000? Let me see. I want to make sure. I want to make sure I don't spread misinformation. OMI on base has just under 250,000 in liquidity. So forget for a minute like that. That's it, right? Let's pretend it has $5 million of liquidity for Americans, because obviously Americans can't use Gate.io or MEXC or OKX. We can really only use Uniswap, like Coinbase Wallet, et cetera. Now that'll change when Coinbase, when they had said like, hey, all of these tokens on Base, on decentralized exchanges, on these DEXs will be available on Coinbase. That's awesome. Coinbase doesn't get its own listing, and it's really listed with all the poop, right? I think it should stand out because of the amount of utility that it has. But if I'm David and Dan and I want to kind of sell some of the token, one, there's like no liquidity to sell, and two, even if there was, a bunch of people watch their wallets, and as soon as they would sell any, the fudders and the shitstormers and who basically lied. They're like, oh, they're dumping on us. And it's like, okay, they've held this token for like what, 8 years? I feel like they deserve to take a piece. But herein lies that issue. Okay, how do you move these tokens? I mean, they're essentially locked up, right? Which again, I feel like other people don't really recognize, but they are. They're locked up. How do you do this? I think it would be, I think the community would get behind it if they were to say like, hey, for every token we cash out or we sell, we're going to burn 5 of them. So if we move, 1 million tokens, we're actually burning 10. I feel like people would be okay with that. If we move 100 million tokens, we're actually going to burn 500 million. I feel like people would be cool with that. Now, the only ones that would really suck for would be David and Dan, because it's like, hey, we have to light all this money on fire. That would really suck. But this is something I might ask them, because if it was just one person saying like, hey, they have a lot of tokens, any new investor, they might feel a certain way about that. And they might. If I was a new investor, I would say, okay, are any tokens locked up? And if so, how long until they're unlocked? And I would expect as soon as they're unlocked for, dumping. But that happened years ago. That happened so many years ago where they had the chance as soon as they unlocked, they could have sold, and they didn't. So I was like, okay, if there's no tokens left to unlock, how much do they have? Have they ever sold? Okay, I would say like they're probably locked up for some time, right? Maybe they're trying to get someone to buy them and have tokens be part of the deal, and that's the way they can move them. I don't think it would deter me from buying the token. But again, that's something that some people have kind of said, like, hey, they have a lot. So again, I'll bring that up on Wednesday, or I'm sorry, Tuesday. David's coming on the channel. Again, enough about OMI. Let's do SHIRO here real quick, and then I'll get to the article with David. SHIRO is actually up 0.5% today. Haven't been able to say that in a while. About $1 million in volume, $3.2 million market cap. I do plan to get more next month. That will not take away from my OMI holdings. That's just from another pot of money that I can get it from. I'll be getting more OMI pretty much every week. Just because I know I said we're done with OMI, but I'm not. There's another reason. Let's go to, it doesn't really show it on CoinMarketCap. Let's go to OMI on CoinGecko, because it really shows it. Just over the last 3 months, it doesn't look great. And obviously, if you go max, even if you go max, token looks dead, right? It looks like every time it gets a little bit of life, the people that have some, they just dump on the liquidity, right? So why would anyone want to buy it if it looks like that? I know there's this, I don't want to say consensus, but if you've been in crypto for, let's say, like 4 years, let's say you got in the bull market last time and everything was exciting, and you've seen now via pump fund and via like just everything, there's millions of tokens made every month. And you might say, okay, the intelligence that's in the market's smarter now. The people that have been in for 4 years are smarter, sure. But there's new people that come in all the time. the amount of people that are even just looking at Bitcoin right now is the same as when it was over a year ago when it was $16,000, a year and a half ago. So retail is not in. You're going to get a whole new wave of money at some point. Do I think it's anytime soon? Probably not. And I just mean like crypto in general, not talking about OMI. Again, I told that guy a few months ago when I told you about that had like 20 million OMI that he got, you know, in like 2021 at like 007. I told him that, and at the time it was like 00021. I was like, OMI could get cut in half, or it can go 3x from here, or anywhere in between. I don't know what happens in the short term. And now he has over $1 billion OMI, and prices pretty much stayed the same. It's gone down a bit, but pretty much stayed the same. And the same thing could happen. We could reach quad zeros, or it could do a 4x for no reason. It could do a 5x right now and not reach 001. And I like that math. I know the underlying business is doing well. The underlying business makes money. It's not like Bumper where it's pre-revenue, they're not making money, and you haven't heard from the team in 8 months. Or even like Cryptoys that had made a little bit of money. There's kind of some communication every couple of months, but they haven't made money in quite a while. The team has been silent for X amount of months. No, like they're out there every day. And listen, guys, like I know Foster professionally, but we were friends beforehand. If there was anything that was like wrong with the like, I'd be headed for the hills. But there's not. And maybe I shouldn't have even said that. But again, if there was anything wrong, I'm sure I would know. So that's why I'm up to 250. I'll be up to 260 end of the week, and that's Sunday. I'll be up to 260 end of the week, and then I'll do that every until I can't anymore. Anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about beforehand. We were doing SHIRO, which still had $1 million in volume, $3.2 million mark. So I'll get more SHIRO next month. It won't come out of the funds that I use to get OMI. Again, that'll be a separate pot of money. Because I got some, I think when it was a $6 million market cap. I did not get it. I didn't sell any when it was 17 million. I didn't buy or sell there, but I stays down here. I might get a little bit more next month. I'll keep y'all posted. That is the SHIRO. Let's go to daCAT. And daCAT yesterday, in case you missed it, had a horrendous day. Over the 24-hour period, it's up 18%. But over the 7-day period, it's down 40%. Why? Because, well, partly because ETH just crashed. But also because yesterday you had a big sell-off. And it was just from one guy. It was one guy that got in like 3 or 4 months ago when we were at like $400,000 or $500,000 market cap. It was like 1.5, and then he dumped it for, I think he put in like 20 and got out like 30. So he actually made money. But yeah, it just, again, 30K at once cut the market cap in half, which is wild. Because at $1.5 million market cap, 10% is 150K. So if 10% is 150K, 1% is, he had 2% of the supply, at about 30K, and 2% knocked us. It's weird. You have 2% of the supply, and that sale knocks it down like 45%. It was nuts. So again, a somewhat okay recovery. Again, going down 40% is 45% was a big one. So being up 18% today seems like, oh, hey, very nice. But again, when you take a look at what happened yesterday, it's like, oh, okay, it's still, we dropped this much and we went up this much. I did get a bit more yesterday, not a ton worth, like $500-$600 worth, which is worth a bit more now, granted. But again, this does follow ETH. So part of the reason yesterday that, just kind of had that big of a dip was because that large sell plus ETH just absolutely going wild. going to do deal tomorrow. One second, guys. Give me same. Yeah. How much you want in for if you are referring to the other meow cent meow days meow. Where was I? Omar saying good evening, fam. What's going on, Omar? Let's take a look at, we did daCAT. Oh, daCAT. So I was on a space before as well. Again, price action, I'm not going to say that I don't care about that. Again, when it dipped 40% yesterday, I put another $600 in. And I had a little bit more money, but if again, the price doesn't really, I don't want to say I don't care about it, because I do a little bit, but short-term volatility, and granted, it's not just like up or down, it was down like 40 or 45%, so I get that. But regardless of what the price is, I'm not going to stop making deals for bringing people in. I'm not going to stop writing the comic. I'm not going to stop getting all, because it's mostly about daCAT, because again, that's in which who I'm writing for. But it's also about getting all of these people on VeVe. It was really nice to see that over the last 7 days, we had 2 days that we had over 1,000 people. That is awesome. Can't wait to see more of that. For the other one, for daCAT though, again, I'm not going to stop. So regardless of what the price is, and if something crazy were to happen where, let's say, a bunch of whales leave and we go down to like a $30,000-$40,000 market cap, I will clean the F up, and then I'll get a bunch of the supply. Again, I don't expect that to happen. Again, there's a lot of blood in the streets, and we really only had that one person sell. Now that means like everyone has their breaking point. So in like the face of like World War III, which I don't think is happening, but obviously things are sensationalized. In the face of that, I'm pretty, the people that are behind daCAT are pretty solid. And again, I'm the face of it, but the other people that are in there, again, it's pretty solid. And there's some other stuff that's going on as well. Again, I'm just really in charge of the comic. There are people that they want to do a movie. There are people that want to do a web series. There's a lot of other facets to it that I just have no control over, and not that I shouldn't say it like that, but that I'm not a part of, but it'll still happen anyway, because the people that are part of the and again, they're all community members. Like, so nobody gets like paid into daCAT. They had a influencer program where they said, hey, if daCAT gets to a certain market cap, and if you have this many followers, and if you have X, Y, and Z, then you'll be awarded some of these tokens. And it was $1 trillion tokens that rightfully would have been mine. And I said, no, this is my baby. I'll buy the tokens from the market. And we donate, and I donated 1 trillion tokens, which is like $3,000. It's not a lot, but I donated that to daCATchronicles.eth. And we will make a reserve as well that does not have just daCAT. We'll announce that we'll formally announce at least one token on like Tuesday or Wednesday, what we have on there. And then more as the months go on. But before the end of the year, I want to make it so that it's worth multiple 6 figures just in that wallet. That's for the comic. Test for, okay, hang on. Budge, okay. 816. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I have to go do something, because what time was this? 5:57. ETH for okay. 5:58 on what day is this? Oh my gosh. 5:58 on Wednesday? Tonight or tomorrow? I'm sorry, guys. I just had some. Okay, Wednesday. Okay. I unfortunately have to do something. Huh? I have to look back, and of course it doesn't give me. Oh no, it does give me times. Where was Wednesday? What date was Wednesday? Was that the okay? It's gonna be 18th. 12:35. Okay, that's PM. 8:10. The fudge on the 19th, right? Wednesday was. Uh, I thought I didn't. I knew I paid somebody, and they're just like, wait, I didn't get it. I was like, so I was trying to find the transaction, and they're like, wait, never mind. I'm sorry. I was looking at guys. Just be advised when you go to a stacker wallet, you have a base wallet, and then you have a Ethereum wallet. So see, like up there where it says base and Ethereum, they. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. Let's look at where are we at? DEVVE is. Yes, maybe point. Meow, because the punished. Asking if he'll change. Where was I here? All right, DEVVE. Just real quick, because again, it got absolutely ravaged. So many people selling. I've probably put in 45K into this. It's worth 20. So could it keep going down? Well, I know the absolute bottom is definitely 12 cents because that's what it hit the last year when you had all of those people that were selling. Went up to $1.80. And when they were selling, not because of any particular bad news, they were selling because they bought in the pre-sale. So DEVVE only launched last year. They've been in business and they've been working for like 9 years. Granted, they don't really have the exchange in which they're coming out with will probably be like November, December, if I had to guess. And again, the token on people bought in the pre-sale like 3 years ago, 4 years ago maybe, and that was the pre-sale. So they bought into the DEVVE token 3 or 4 years ago when there was no token, no business. You just hope in a dream, right? And when it launched last year, it spiked up to $1.80, and then all of the people that bought years ago at like pennies, right? As soon as unlock, sell. It was a steep sell from $1.80 all the way down to 12 cents. And then the unlock stopped happening. And it went up back to $1.80. And it was at 34 cents before. So does it go back down to 12? I don't know. I got quite a bit here. So again, I think I originally got a small amount at 30 cents, small amount at 15 cents. And then this year, I got a little bit more. I couldn't go really hard because in January I had to pay $20,000 of gambling debts because I bet that OMI would be not where it is now. Whatever the price that I thought it would be at, it was not. 20K gone like that. So I couldn't go as hard. Thank God. Because again, it was like $1.80. So I did wind up getting some at like $1.50, $1.90. I think like 70, 75 is where I put a decent amount. So it being here at 36 cents, yeah, I got some. And short term through like was June, so July, August, September, October. For the next 4 months, you could just see the price get absolutely murdered. And it could go back down to 12 cents. I don't know. I know that when they announce who the partner is, there's 10,000 holders on here right now. But if they're saying they have a stock exchange partner, and I'm hoping for like an American New York Stock Exchange, right? Could be London Exchange, it could be, you know, Beijing, any one of like the big things out there, right? It's probably London. Regardless of who it is, add at least a zero to that 10,000 holders. Probably be well over 100K. Probably hundreds of thousands of people will get in. They are not paying for exchanges because they are going to be an exchange. There's probably going to be a bunch of other exchanges that approach them about listing. So they'll announce who their partner is, and then they'll and when they announce who their partner is and the launch of the exchange, it could be at the same time. Hopefully, they announce who their partner is a couple months prior. What is it, a 30-something million market cap? I think this could 100x from here. When it was at like 90 cents to $1, I was like, yeah, 30 cents, you know, or 30x give or take. But now that it's at a $30 million market cap, 100x. Chavez is $3 billion. Yeah. They possibly they do 1,000x. Is that likely? Probably not. But if you run that scenario 100 different times, there's probably 1 or 2 times where it does reach that 1,000x. Again, if you run all these simulations, right? So again, I have no issue buying down here, even if short term it goes down to 20 cents, 15, 12, even goes to newer lows that we've never seen it at. I have no problem buying down here, knowing that it could go crazily low, because I know that end result is just insane. When does this happen? Again, my guess would be mid to late Q4. The bull market, like this Iran thing, could blow over. You could have a peace deal with Russia and Ukraine, you know, all happen within the next 3 months, and then by end of Q3 things can go nuts, and my Q4 prediction could be insanely wrong, or it could be wrong the other way, and it gets delayed, as tech often does, until Q1 of next year. I don't know. I am pretty confident though that DEVVE is one of those things that does a massive 30x from here minimum, in my opinion. Again, anything can go to zero at any moment. Let's go to DEFINITY here and see where they're at, because DEFINITY, I always want more. Bill Gardner saying, what up, Bill Gardner? Turtle Golf saying, first to say first. You are. Booth says, hello, Dashy. What up, Booth? Kubo says, M'Baku forever. Oh, I love you guys. I love you guys so much. What's up, Mosvane says, let's go. Mosvane.e3 posted the stream. Let's get this bread. Love y'all. Okay, DEFINITY down about 3% today to 2.8 cents. We've got $500 in. There's a lot more volume on daCAT than DEFINITY. $500 in volume in DEFINITY. People are going to feel so freaking silly when they become public on how much they're doing each month. They're going to be so freaking silly. I want to see what daCAT's volume was today, though. daCAT's volume today was 11.9 thousand. So just a little bit higher than DEFINITY's 500. Yeah, the big thing that they probably need to do is really just marketing, because again, they are crushing it. And whether crypto goes crazy on a day or crypto just crashes on a day, they make money. Not on weekends, but they make. Again, doesn't matter if crypto goes up or goes down. DEFINITY Markets makes money on those days. Almost says, good evening, fam. I love that, bro. It's so good. That is like late 2000s, early 2010s. Oh, that was so good for TV. Breaking Bad, Dexter, Walking Dead, Burn Notice. You had so many awesome shows. The late 2000s, early 2010s was like peak for that. Everyone was watching. Oh, so good. He unfortunately has taxes that cannot wait. So that's Definity. Again, these are one of the things that could probably do 1,000x from here. Gun to my head, I don't know what's gun to my head, 50x minimum. The just because the underlying business is doing so freaking well, and the fact that I have just part of that company is just, I don't. Y'all ever see BoJack Horseman? Another one. So, back in the 90s, I was in a very famous TV show. BoJack Horseman is such a good show. Anyway, Todd, in what he just keeps falling upward to success, and I feel like that's his last name's Chavez. It's Todd Chavez. I feel like that's kind of my life. Just fall upwards. Anyway, that's Definity. We did DMC, did daCAT, SHIRO. We did OMI. Okay, we did that stuff. Let's get some comments over here. Mike Jones and what happened to the DEVVE news. So they're going to come out with who. So it depends on which news you're talking about, because they have a bunch of news. Actually, let's go talk about some of that news, shall we? And let's get to this morning. Wow, there's actually a lot to get to today. I underscore M underscore, I think it's CLAU. I was on underscore, that is a dash. Sky Mocha Boy has said, big news, Coinbase just launched Coinbase Payments, a full stack solution bringing USD payments to Shopify. Instant, gasless, 24/7 stablecoin checkout. It's a huge step for crypto adoption, but it also opens the door to what comes next, the DEVVE exchange. Coinbase Payments is a clear signal. The market is ready for blockchain-based payments at scale. What used to be experimental is now mainstream with real infrastructure, APIs, and stablecoin rails that businesses can use today. That's huge. And here's the best part. This success validates the direction that DEVVE exchange has taken from the start. Real-world assets, real self-custody, real settlement, real yield, real compliance, and real ownership. While Coinbase focuses on retail checkout, DEVVE exchange introduces DEVVE, a patented non-custodial liquidity provisioning system. It's built to handle not just payments, but everything from trading to lending to market making, all in one integrated engine. Now, how DEVVE by DEVVE exchange works: users contribute to liquidity caches, whether it's Bitcoin, ETH, fiat-backed tokens, etc. It enables instant settlement with no counterparty risk. It powers DEXs, order books, on-chain, lending, yield sharing, all from a single pool of capital. It's not just payments layer. It's the backbone for an entire decentralized financial system. See, that's where you knew this was written by AI. Designed from the ground up to work across jurisdictions, support tokenized assets, and ensure compliant, transparent exchange. So yes, Coinbase launching payments is great news. It proves that blockchain finance is entering the real world. But the leap forward is almost here. DEVVE exchange is coming and is built for the future, not just of crypto, but of finance. And link down below if you want to sign up for that DEVVE exchange and make me look good. So they have announced Will Stewart, who is an absolute titan in his field of Wall Street and raising money, raising capital, hundreds of billions of dollars. Hundreds of millions. There is the AA rated, Definity has a daLUBAC. daLUBAC, that's the European bank that DEVVE has partnered with. If you're talking about the stock exchange, which one that is, I don't know. Dollars to donuts, I'd probably bet London, but they're not going to tell us until later. We don't know when. If I had to bet, I bet they would tell us mid Q4, and the exchange would roll out late Q4, and we'd have a very happy Christmas and reason to celebrate a happy New Year. If I had to guess, they've been very consistent on saying the second half of 2025. So all of this could come out in a couple of weeks. I doubt it, but again, it could, because they've never mentioned specific quarters. They just said second half, which leaves wiggle room for them potentially getting all this stuff out in Q3, which would be amazing. But they've also said they plan to get it out second half of 2025, which means that it is also possible for us to be able to have a little bit more time to stack if they don't get it out until Q1 of next year. So there has been a bunch of DEVVE news, all of it good. It's just, I don't think it's the news that a lot of people wanted to hear. Or I should, more correctly, the news that has been told and that has been given to us has not had the desired effect that people have wanted it to have. Like, I don't think people would care what the news was if it made the token go up. Last year, everyone and their sister was talking shit on Moonbirds. And then randomly, the floor like 3x'd. And then everyone's like, see, this is what happens when the devs have your head down and they work. You don't have to always communicate as long as you're working. We know they're working. Suddenly the devs could do no wrong. It's the same with every other crypto out there. People get tired of waiting. They get tired of seeing red, and that's why most people don't like. Again, BlackRock bought what, $70 million in Bitcoin, like yesterday. I don't think they really care what the price is. They would want it to go lower so they can get more of it. They already own 3% of all Bitcoins out there and over 5% of MicroStrategy. And it doesn't look like they're stopping anytime soon. So again, I follow the money. Hasn't steered me wrong yet. And if that's what they're doing, well, it would make, like, they're not in this to lose. They don't lose. So I understand where people are just like, man, if I had just put this money into even just like a T-bill, like, again, if I, the real Randy Chavez, would have put all of my money in 2021 into a T-bill, I was going to say I would have more money, and that might be true, but the actual value of what I own now is actually higher than that. But it is, well, it's not it's not easily liquidable. Long story short, I understand that if people would have done anything else the last 3 years, aside from put their money in crypto, probably would have got you a better return. Again, the bear market has just been god awful to a lot of people. And because this is the world that I live in, I do not hear the end of it, which, again, I understand that's the line of work that I am in. But yeah, BlackRock's not done buying. Fidelity's not done buying. Metaplanet's not done buying. And again, these people, they don't lose. People getting these Bitcoin reserves that are like these $100 million companies or $100 billion companies. You have, again, BlackRock, $10 trillion in assets under management. They're not in it to lose. They don't lose. They rule the freaking world. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that regardless of the news, Bitcoin will still play out, ETH will still play out, most of the top 10 will probably play out, most of the top 100 will probably play out. And then any other tokens that are attached to a real world business that are doing exceedingly well will skyrocket. Doesn't seem like that now because, well, Chavez, talk about Definity and DEVVE and OMI, and they're attached to major businesses that have, they do a lot. They do a lot. You're right. And like, well, the tokens have done nothing but go down. You're also right. I think that on a long enough timeline, well, on a long enough timeline, we'll die, right? But play it out for another year, and we'll see who's right. We'll see who's a bit happier. Well, we'll see who has more money. I mean, I'm generally happy. But so I ran into, well, I didn't run into him. I've actually never met this guy. There's a dude that I talk to every now and then. We did a couple business deals, and he's cool. I like him, but his time frame on things, I don't include him in any OTC deals that I do now, because every time he buys, a couple months later, it's not working out, and he sells. This person in January got like $150,000 worth of OMI. Pretty sure that sold. He sold Affinity, he sold DEVVE. Like this person had sold, like he got all the things I recommended, and it's like Mr. Pags years ago. He's like, yeah, I'm in this for the long run. I'm in it for 30 years. Couldn't last 18 months, right? He sells. Same thing with this other guy. That there are some people that just they can't take it, and it's like being deployed. I really need another beer. Oh, I have a little Coronita down here. I hate these things. Did you know that Corona Rita Extra doesn't mean that there's extra alcohol content? It just means that it's extra quality. Shame Corona, because I don't taste the difference. It's still Anyway, it's like some people when they're deployed, most people are fine. It's like, all right, embrace the suck for 7 months, however long they're deployed for. But there's some people that freak out that they're like not in America anymore. Like basic training, fine. Tech school, fine. They go to whatever duty station, fine. But there's some people that like have a breakdown because I'm not like they're just not in America. You could have some people that are just sharks in business that are just whatever, and it's fine with stocks and bonds and diamonds, but volatility in crypto, they can't take it and they sell. So like I told this one dude, Brian, like years ago, again in the high risk lending industry, decent salesman, but he never put in any of the deals that he sold because he was, this dude just complained like he was a discredit to the human species. I don't even, it's borderline on very stereotypical and probably a little racist. Anyway, he finally puts into a couple of deals. Like, there you go, man. Good for you. 3 days into it, it's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I have to call these guys. I have to make sure, how's it going? And the amount of mental real estate it took up in this dude's mind was astounding, because he just didn't have the mental fortitude to just kind of leave it and be like, bro, like you on the calls, you went over the bank statements. You know he's got good average daily balances. He doesn't really go negative. He's going to take this money. He's going to use it for X, Y, and Z, and he's going to make X amount of money or Y amount of money because of that. This money is good for him. You will get paid back. I don't know. How do I know? What if this guy gets sick? What if he gets sick? What if his wife gets sick? And it's like, this dude just. So I wound up buying his deals from him, and he, and yeah, that was it. That is someone that should not be in crypto. There's a dude I met in Vegas. This poor bastard. This dude only had sex twice in his life, and both times he got the girl pregnant. 2 separate women. Poor bastard. There are just some people that shouldn't do things. For example, that guy probably shouldn't have been in Vegas. That dude Brian should not have been in any high risk lending deals. And there are some people that should just not be in crypto. And I get it. It's one thing, well, I can't hold for a few months, versus like, well, Chavez, it's been a few months, but I've been down this path for like 3-4 years now. Understand. And I know I'm going way off the rails here, but it's just, Again, a lot of this stuff needs to be talked about, especially on days like this. Screw it. Doing the Coronita. I just don't like this. Oh God. Oh God. All right, the foam was. Oh God. Again. The foam like keeps rising on these. Okay, we're good. We're good. Bill Gardner, what's going on? Give me those dabs. Ethan Mascarena says, Randy, people thought an OMI's hitting new all-time. Well, see, this is what I understand. This is at a local 4-year low. This is not an all-time low. All-time low, good band, is like quad 02, quad 04. It's quad all-time lows are quad zeros. Anyway, people fighting OMI hitting local lows while Bitcoin is over 100K. How do you even begin to explain that despite being 99% down, it's still not at all-time low? Ah, there we go. Yeah. Just to stop them from running away. The thesis of the company hasn't changed. It's like when 2021, I would see people, actually this happened in like 2018, 2019. The cost to grade a Pokemon card was like $20. If you got these like really good deal where you did like 50 at a time and you went through this one company, I forget the name of them. But if you did that, you maybe got the cost down to like $12 a card, $8 a card. But if you wanted to send in one card, it was like $20. And if you're someone like me that lived and breathed that stuff, I could tell this is a 10, this is a 9, this is an 8, 7, 7.5, like whatever, right? There were some people that were selling first edition PSA 9 holographic cards. Like, I understand that I don't say Rat Attack because that's a base set. Let's say like a first edition pincer, like non-hollow for like a PSA 9. That's a mint card. That should probably go for like $30 because again, first edition PSA 9, it's mint, it's already graded. Like the risk is taken out because it costs you $20 to grade that card, shipping and all that. So I would see people selling first edition PSA 9 holographic cards. And it's not like, okay, well, first edition in like 2000 or first edition like 2015, it's different. Like, well, there's no first edition there's no first edition post like 2003. It ran for like from base set to Neo Destiny, and that's it. Those are the first editions. So it's not like it was a first edition from like a recent decade. It was from a long time ago. The risk was already taken out. If you're selling first edition PSA 9s for like $15 to $20, I spent like I spent easily thousands of dollars on those because that was a mint card. Like the risk you take, because again, like the people that grade these, that they're people, they're not machines. They make mistakes, and they could have just had a fight with their wife. They could have just had a really horrible bowel movement. They could have just got bad news. And maybe they grade a 10 and 8, like just they make mistakes. And Beckett absolutely sucked at grading. Beckett 9, 9.5 or 10, they were good. You knew that was the grade, and they were generally a little bit harsher. But anything under a 9, you can get a Beckett 8, like you can get a Beckett BGS 8. It could have actually been an 8.5, or it could have been like a 5. Like that's how horrendously horrible they were and inconsistent they were at grading. Why I'm telling you this is because the risk is already taken out of the card. The risk is taking a card that could be it could be an 8, could be 9, could be 10. You most likely know what it is. But the risk is sending the card out to get graded. And the return is getting that card back. It was already graded a PSA 9. that is the cost of sending it out and waiting. And you didn't get that back next week or next month. On average, you got that back like 10 to 12 months later. I could have sent at 2018, 2019, Ethan, I could have advised you to take a first edition PSA 9 hollow jump fluff, sent it out. You could have met a girl, gotten her pregnant, and had that kid before that card were to come back. So the risk is gone. The wait time is gone. You get that card. That was a no freaking brainer, because it is impossible to get that card cheaper, because you would have had to buy the pack, get a hollow, get an actual holographic in that particular pack, because maybe one out of every 3 packs you might get a hollow. Then you would have had to take the materials, put it in a sleeve, put it in a penny pocket protector, put it in cardboard, tape up the cardboard, put it in bubble wrap, ship it, and that's if it's one card. Like if you want to ship like 50, right? Ship it, wait a year, get it back, and maybe it's PSA 9, right? Maybe it's that. All of that is taken out, and you're selling at $15 to $20, bro. My guy. Okay, so I say this to you because we're getting OMI tokens right now, basically with all the risk getting taken out. So let's say you have OMI and you got a bunch of OMI at 0002, right? Right, it's 000 like 18 now, but let's say you got it 3 days ago at 0020, and you got 100 grand worth, and you're getting that not for like a 20% X or like a 20% gain. You're getting that for the blow off top, right? You'll take some profits on the way, but you're saving that for the blow off top. So I would tell these people, like, when you're buying these cryptos, are you buying them for a 50% gain? Are you buying them for a 2x? Or are you waiting for that 30 to 50x? Now, OMI, I suspect 100, but again, not every token is this. But I would say to them, like, what are you doing this for? Are you doing this for a 2x, or are you doing it for a 50x? And if they're doing it for a 2x, one, I think they're in the wrong business. One, I think they're in the wrong token. They're in the wrong thing. But if they're doing it for a 2x, then it's like, okay, so you got it at 0002, and you would sell at 0004. Okay, that's on you. You want to do that, 2x your money, cool. You're not going to go broke if you make 2x, right? But I feel like most people would be like, no, I'm in crypto. It's high risk, high reward. I'm in it for a 10x. I'm in it for a 20, 50x. So then I would say, okay, if you got 100 grand worth of OMI at 0002, would you sell at 0004? No, I'm in it for that 20x, that 50x, right? Okay. So if it doubled, you wouldn't sell. No. Okay, but it went down 0002, 0008, but it went down 10%. He's like, well, why does it matter? It's like, it's going down, losing money. It's like, yeah, but even if it doubled, you wouldn't have sold, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, so if you wouldn't have sold, then what's the difference whether it goes down or up in the course of these, like couple of months? So that's what I would say to him. And again, the thesis of the business, they're still making money. NFTs have a lot of money going into them. Are we seeing that in VeVe? Yeah, a little bit. We see that on Stacker. We see people that came back from Lisbon. They were hella excited. Part of it was because they were excited that they got to see family. They got to feel, love. They got to, hug people. They got to feel really good. But I think part of that was because of, and again, I asked Dr. Stuff this question last Tuesday. I was like, hey, everyone's off this high off Lisbon. Like, why? Like, did David say something? Did Dan say something? And he said, yes. They were actually talking about the token. They didn't mention the token for like 3.5 years. And now they're actively talking about it. And that's a big step. So short-term vicissitudes aside, like OMI right now, in my opinion, is a first edition PSA 9 holo that you're getting for $15 to $20. It's at cost. The risk is gone. And could it go down? Could those people back in the day in 2018, 2019 were taking crazy pills, selling some of the shit for $15, $20. I think if you're selling OMI down here, you're either like one of maybe three things. Either you bought it at like quad 03, quad 04, like years ago, and you woke up from a coma and was like, oh, all right, cool, I'm up, so. Or you don't understand the fundamentals of business, and you are saying like, hey, impatient, you bought it and it's down, and you just don't know what you're doing. Or you do know what you're doing, you understand that, hey, there's the business is doing well, but the token is going down, and you're letting your frustrations and the red in your bag cloud your judgment and really getting the better of you. Like, again, inside of you are two wolves. One is logical and can be reasoned with, and the other is a child pup wolf that never really grew up and is just frustrated and is throwing a tantrum and is against your better judge. If you're letting your inner derpy wolf get the better of you, making a decision that is likely going to end in you kicking yourself in the pants in the next 8 to 12 months because of what I think OMI will do. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe David and Dan are just really good liars, and the fudders are right. Maybe it's a slow rug, and maybe it goes to zero. Maybe things are far worse off than had to believe. Again, like, I talk to David pretty much every week. There's a reason why I'm up to 250 million now, and why I'm getting up to 260 end of next week, and why I'm going to minimum get 300 before the end of summer. Because I don't see any weakness. Like, the business itself is doing pretty well. The weakness is just in the token side is really just that people don't understand like a lot of the fundamentals, and it's hard to see red in your. It's hard to see that in general, and then to have it being done consistently, and especially for new people that have never had this before. Like Mike Tyson said, like, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. I've been punched in the face before. In 2020, I think I lost like $100,000. I went over this, or I reread it on a Facebook memory. I had a perfect payback record for high risk lending until the pandemic. I repeat, I had every single person that I gave money to paid back that money, plus obviously interest, up until 2020, when the government said like, hey, you can't work. And they had a choice of like, pay me back or like feed their families, right? So it's easier for me because I've been here before. And I'm not going to sell it to people because I think there's a lot of ugliness in finance already, and I don't want to try to sell anything, especially if people aren't ready. And also because I don't tell people what to do, not you guys anyway. So for them, I'd be like, hey, listen, if the company were bleeding money and they already sold X amount of the business and they couldn't sell anymore and their credit cards are maxed out. David was in Portugal buying dinners and drinks left and right. You're not doing that if you're like crestfallen because of the fact that you know, you have no income. You got to read the writing on the wall. Like Master Roshi said, minds are like books. You can read, people can read them if you know how. It's the same thing with business. You can tell what's going to happen to a company. You just need to know how to read into it. So again, the underlying company that is behind the token is absolutely fine, but people are just letting the horrendousness of the bear market really get to them. And again, I feel like I've gone, it's like over an hour now. I'm barely into the comments, and we have, and I still barely went over the news. John Digby is like, what's good, Randy? My favorite show. Did OMI get hit with missiles too? Consistently for 3.5 years now. Lots of stuff. Kuma saying, what up, fam? What up? V-Wheel says, that's right, G's. Yo, what up? Praise the Lord. Okay. I've got Miss Gecko saying, oh, thank you, Miss Gecko. Let me give her a couple of hearts. She's awesome. We love her. We love her. Actually, what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to do I still haven't read the David article yet. Y'all can smash that like button. That'd be a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon, smash the super thanks button down below. Super as well. It'd be super great. Okay. Cool, saying grab some more today too. Great price. Wish it was 00. Yeah, I think we all do. I have a lot of money at that price again. Who's this? Oh, VeVe Magic says from Toontown to Tokyo airs at special daytime this week because next up is Disney's Live Vacation, Lilo and Stitch comes out on June 26th. Tune in Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for your chance to win a VeVe official collectible. Awesome. IMD or OKC. Assume this is basketball. If it's women's basketball, whichever team that Caitlin Clark is on, because she is my hero. If it's male basketball, I have no idea. But I'll say women's basketball and whatever team Caitlin Clark is on. Ethan Mascarena says, I don't know. People keep spreading so much misinformation. Even if it's down more than 900%, how many other projects sell better returns than our OMI, more X percentage from its launch price? That's a good point. I don't know. Probably not a lot. And even from here, I think the 1 to 200x is probably pretty, not easy, but I think the 1 to 200x is well within that realm of possibility. It's not like you have to reach for it. Certain things have to happen. But yeah, the only other things that I think could outperform might be DEVVE or DEFINITY. I would say those. Jason says, dang, Randy, you're crushing your OMI DCA in a good way. I'm trying. And again, like at DEFINITY, if that does like a nice 30x from here, I'll shave some off and I'll get some more OMI. Because I'll get paid a nice amount when eventually, if they get an offer on the company or if I want to sell my part of the company, because they're doing very well. So I could probably sell part of the token. Even 10x from here is not bad, but I'm not going to take any at 10x from here. I'd say when it gets to $1, I'll shave some off, and then I'll probably be able to get probably up to $1 billion by that point. Arjun Gang says OMI never been lower. That is false. It's been quite a bit lower years back. Because wait, Randy, how much you put into OMI? How much is that worth now? If DEVVE you put in 40K and is now worth 20, is OMI much worse? I put like over $500,000 into OMI, and it's not worth that now. So yeah, OMI is definitely much worse, especially because the OMI that I had was worth over $1 million. It was like 1.1. So yeah, that's definitely much worse. Who says Alluvium's at $9 hair? They're going to be so freaking silly. Yeah, sometimes I say silly things. Damn, Alluvium's at $9. That is wild. Mike Jones, thanks for the DEVVE news. No problem. All right, let me get to this freaking David article here before I go to what do we got? What do we got? Where is this freaking thing? The Sharp End. David Yu, co-founder and CEO of VeVe Digital Collectibles. New Zealand's strength in its ability to foster early innovation with a tight-knit, supportive business community while making a significant impact on the global stage. The country's entrepreneurial spirit, combined with strong work ethic and a deep appreciation for creativity, makes it an ideal environment for business to thrive. So David says, AI in my business will enhance our user experiences, streamline internal processes, and open up new ways to engage with digital collecting in the metaverse. As it continues to evolve, it will play a significant role in personalizing user interactions, automating tasks, and even curating 3D digital assets in ways and speed we haven't imagined yet. Next big thing is the convergence of physical and digital assets. Where true ownership of digital goods becomes mainstream, I'm already seeing brands and consumers embracing the idea of digital experiences where digital assets have real-world benefits. And I believe that this will reshape the people, how people collect, interact, and engage with their favorite brands and franchises. The first rule of business is to build something you truly love and believe in, and success will follow. If you solve a real problem or create something that excites people, the financial rewards and long-term success will come naturally. Success to me means creating something meaningful that people love, that positivity impacts their lives and stands the test of time. True success is not about financial gain, about leaving a lasting legacy and building something that continues to evolve and bring value long after it was first created. I'm inspired by visionaries who push boundaries and challenge industries and create new ways for people to connect and engage. And there's passion, persistence, and a willingness to learn are the keys. People like Steve Jobs and Walt Disney have shown how bold thinking and relentless execution can change the world. The worst advice I ever got was stick to what you know. Entrepreneurship comes from stepping outside your comfort zone, trying new things, and embracing change. Some of the biggest breakthroughs come from exploring uncharted territory. What people don't know about me is that I've been an avid collector since childhood. I think we knew that, David. My passion for collecting spans everything from stamps, comics, and art to memorabilia. And that personal love for collectibles is what ultimately inspired me to create VeVe. The quickest way to break into business is to become obsessed with the industry, deeply understand the community, and deliver real value that stands out. Passionate persistence and a willingness to learn are the keys. On social media, I engage with the community, listen to feedback, and appreciate the direct connection with our users. Social media allows for instant communication, and while it can be overwhelming at times, it's also an invaluable tool for understanding what our audience wants and how we can improve. Oh gosh, where are we? I'm trying to learn on how to slow down and enjoy the journey rather than always chasing the next challenge and opportunity. That becomes really hard when you're CEO. What can we learn from young people that is just like when I started my business at 17? Creativity knows no bounds, and the biggest obstacles are often the ones we create for ourselves. The younger generation continues to push the limits of how we engage with technology, entertainment, and new ideas, bringing fresh perspectives that drive innovation and reshape industries. Stay motivated by focusing on bigger picture and knowing that there's always more to build. Seeing how our work impacts people and creates new experiences keep me energized and excited about the future. VeVe.me. God, I love you, David. I love it when he speaks. I don't think BlackRock, I don't think you realize that BlackRock doesn't own 3% of Bitcoin. All the people who buy IBIT ETF do. Okay, I should re-explain that. 3% of Bitcoin is in BlackRock's ETF. Buy Alluvium at $5 and DEVVE at 20 cents. Thank you for being a member. This is sexist. Oh God, I'm gonna send this to you, Ty. Oh God, my camera is so dirty. Oh God, I look like such a tool there. That's even worse, but all right, save that. I'm just gonna save that time. I'm gonna send that to everyone we know. I'm going to export this and I'm going to download it, exporting snap, and my snap was exported. And I will say that call me a sexist. Oh, that's great. Hold on. All right, sexist. It auto corrected to exit on YouTube. So good. Gonna laugh at that. Okay, where was I? Jimbo Lingo says, "Hello, Master Randy." Yo, what's up, Jimbo Lingo? How's it going, fam? Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, those are the comments. Let me get to some of the actual news here, and then we can go on. Where were we? Yesterday. Yeah, we'll go from this. I'm not going to do that. Binance talking about Binance talking about DMC, which is heckin' great. I went over that yesterday though, so I won't go again. Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve is officially signed into law. I read this thing about DEVVE yesterday. I don't need to do that again. Yesterday, $370 million was liquidated from crypto markets in 60 minutes. And that was yesterday, and that happened today too. Today, there was... I'm good, feeling all right, baby, I'm a bad. Nope. China, my friend. Was it? I could have sworn they had another one of those things today where they said, oh, X amount of money was liquidated from the markets. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm a fool. All right. Sorry about that. daCAT token, #1 on Memezilla. Jose Torres says, thank you to all who's been buying my unique minted grails. I was able to pick up my 3rd copy of this iconic book this morning. Still have a handful of deals. X-Men #1, Hulk #1, get them while you can. And it was this amazing Spider-Man 252, the common version. Cool beans. Chaos on the Chain says, in the Chaos on the Chains, no 2 bases are the same. Thanks to the Realm Rift system, your base might rise from the ruins of a World War II bunker, shimmer with futuristic alien tech, or stand strong as a medieval fortress. Each portal opens to a different era, past, present, or future, so your empire reflects the chaos of time itself. Ooh, that's so cool. That is so cool. We got here. Is Ty still here? Ty's straight up spitting facts. All right, so this was Ty when he had a fro. Oh, that's not really a fro, but he did have one. So there's this one dude, Mike, that both me and Ty know, and I met him years back, 2016, 2017, something like that. Oh yes, he is here. And I don't know why this guy Mike was like always thought we were like lying. So we met him like on this cruise. It's a cosplay cruise. I forget what it was called, but you like it's like 4 hours on the Hudson, right? And him and his wife are, we go in and we go to his hotel room and we're chilling, and he's just like, I was like, where are you from? And he's like, oh, I'm from Binghamton. Like, oh, I know where that is. And he's like, no, you don't. And I was like, yeah, a friend of mine goes up there to school. And he's like, oh, wait, really? I was like I feel like this is a big college town. So I was like, yeah. And then later on, like, Ty mentioned his fro, and he's like, you didn't used to have an afro. And he had to like take, this is how long ago it was, took a picture out of his wallet. Like he didn't have one on his phone, I don't think. And I was like, yeah, it's like my high school. He still had like his high school ID in like 2017. I was like, yeah, this is my fro. And he's like, I don't know why he was so suspicious of us. We're minorities, so I might understand that a little bit. Are we going to talk about hair? I don't like your tone, mister. Dude, you know what they call it? Girls call it being hatfished. Be like, yeah, I thought he was like okay looking. Then he took off his. If you Venmo me that, I'll take it off right now if you Venmo me that. Anyway, yeah, there's this thing, like, obviously most dating profiles on whether it's Tinder, Plenty of Fish, you name, like, I don't know what the kids use now. I don't think there's like any photos on there that aren't a girl with makeup or have a filter on, right? So obviously when a girl looks one way and then shows up another, you call it catfish. And now, granted, that can happen with guys too. Like, guys can post pictures from like 10 years ago, 50 pounds ago, more hair ago, and they show up in, catfish. So that could happen both ways. But hatfish really only refers to guys, because most women still have their hair, where you see a guy like that looks pretty okay, and then he takes off his hat, and then like, oh, hell no. It is called hatfish. So yeah. Anyway, I think you can use. So there was a buddy of mine. I can't even talk shit because he's dead now. There's a buddy of mine, this guy named Bradford, and he used to like to push my buttons. He used to like to cheers to the ones that we lost. He did a. I got him back though. He used to. A little annoying at times. But he used to have this. Anything I would say, he would like take the opposite stance of. I was like, bro, like, come on. So I invited him one day. I guess he liked me. Not well, he was gay. Anyway, I was like, come on, me and Larry are gonna play the Jenna Marbles drinking game. He's like, what is that? I was like, oh, you. Anytime she says "wee" or says "baby Spider-Man" or like any, there's the Jenna Marbles drinking game. I was like, we're gonna play, and we got that fucker so drunk. Anyway, he got me back by signing me up for Grindr. He made a fake profile with me. Well, he made a profile of pictures of me, and yeah. Anyway, dude, he died in Germany, Ty. So it is not just the deployed locations that people can. Anyway, it's 100. Yeah, 100%. Grindr is for people grinding to get money. I get with everybody. I had this idea years ago called PokemonTrainersMeet.com. It would be like you put in your information on where you're from, because like if you're from the Kanto region, you're most likely a certain age. If you're from if you're from Newbar Town, from a certain region. If you're from Pallet Town, you're from another one. Little Root Town, you're from another one, etc., etc. Depending on which region you're from, will determine what age you are, your favorite Pokemon, fire type. Obviously, licensing would have been a huge deal, so it never got off the ground. Then I had this like, well, it wasn't my. I came to this idea independently. It was like 2014, and I was watching my friend Pineda's room while he was deployed, which meant I just used his room for stuff. I washed the sheets, I swear. But just reserve. When you're active duty and reservists come in, Ty, you might. Well, maybe not. I don't know about your career field, but my career field, we had to train reservists all the time, and I don't know what it was, but they would just be like, "You're active duty," like. And again, when you're young and hot. Anyway, long story short, I was chilling in this dude Pineda's room. Pineda, if you're watching, sorry, fucked in your bed. His watching Netflix. I had, I think, like a Meat Lover's stuffed crust Pizza Hut pizza, and I'm like passing out, right? And I like can't move, and I'm watching Justice League, and it's what 23-year-old military people do. Anyway, on their free time, and after a few episodes, it said like, "Are you still watching?" And like I was like, "Can't reach remote," and I thought like this would be a really good dating idea if it said like 5 other people in your area also watch 6 hours of Justice League. Do you want to meet them? And then I saw it on a meme on Facebook from Tumblr like months later. I was like, this is my idea. Anyway, this guy at college, although thought he was cute, took off his hat and I was like, oh no thanks. Oh, poor guy. And that was at college too. Damn, he left there early. Megan is the greatest. Megan is pretty cool. She could be cooler, about 20% cooler, if she knows what I mean. Brohoof. Megan Slider says, "Miss you, Ty. Hope Germany is fun." I think Germany is great. bro, when you're getting out of like a club and you see a 24/7 doner kebab, Germany's fantastic. Granted, I never worked in Germany. I only vacationed in Germany twice. Both times were great. But again, I'm not. It's where color goes to die. Ty has a different perspective because he actually works there. I have never worked in Germany. In the Air Force, usually it's a bit of fun. And where Ty's stationed, it is apparently not fun. But I always had a great time. It started to get into Pokemon when Sinnoh came out. I was 8. All right. You're a little younger than me, but you know it's cool. It's cool, Booth. Cool. Is it the house we went to where I slept on the floor in a cold room? Cringe? No. Wait, was that cringe? Pineda? What? This was 2014. I think you came in 2015. All right. So there's a story where I'm in the dorms, right? I'm in the barracks, and you get 4 people to like this room. You each have your own room, and there's like this shared living space. There's a TV, there's a kitchen, there's a fridge. Air Force is so cool. I had all right. So you go in. There was Pito's room. I forget whose room that was. Then there was this other guy, and then there was my room. So I had to go to work, and I they were like tired from like the trip. Her and my friend, we'll call him Johnny Blades, and I put her in Pito's room because he was deployed. So the bed was empty, and I put Johnny Blades in my room. Like, hey guys, I had to run to work. I'll be back. And then we had like this room inspection where I got called back. I was like, they legit let me drive $1 million equipment and load bombs onto aircraft, but God forbid I have a fucking toaster in my right. So they do room inspections. Master Sergeant, I forget his name. He was like this dick. He used to work from security forces, and he was our Master Sergeant for some reason. I forget his name. He goes in like, hey, is this your room? I was like, oh no, that's Aaron Pito's room, sir. And it's just like, where's Aaron Pito right now? And I was like, he's deployed, sir. And I was like, well, how would he feel if you had a girl in his room? I was like, I'd be chill with it. And he'd be like, he'd be okay with that. I was like, yeah, like if I was deployed, he can use my room. Yeah, fine. He's like, and you get this when you come to McGuire Air Force Base, you get like this book. I don't know what it was called, but you get a book going over like the base rules and stuff. He's like, go your room, go get your book. Go get your book for me. Yes, sir. So I opened the door in my room, and there's Johnny Blade sleeping in my bed. This was after the don't ask, don't tell era, but people still weren't like cool with and again, like I wasn't sleeping with I'm straight. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time, but anyway, this dude gets all flustered because he is like he was not cool with gay people. And again, I was straight. I am straight. I've always been straight. And he what he sees is a guy in my bed. It's like, okay, you put the girl in your friend's room that's deployed, and the guy's in your bed. And so he just like, well, you know what? Forget the book, Airman Chavez. Yes, sir. He's like, don't do it again. I was like, yes, sir. That was hilarious, but that was a different time than when you came with John Chan again. I mean, Johnny Blades. And Johnny Blade spent like 3.5 hours downloading some Lord of the Rings game, playing, waiting for it to, like Michael Cera ordering something off Amazon, and he sits by the door. He's like, "Are you waiting for it to like appear?" He's like, "Yes." It was cold in that room, and I guess Megan was on the floor for some reason. I don't remember. Oh God, says I deny. It doesn't exist. Grandpa's name was Ludwig, so I'm gonna say that anyway. Yeah, Krins was there. 2014. You went twice. You definitely went twice. Did you go once? Was this when we were? Was this Halloween? I think it was Halloween. We were trying to go somewhere, and we were doing nothing but blasting Frozen's "Let It Go," and Johnny Blades was very annoyed by this. He was in hell because I love Frozen, and Megan loves Frozen, and "Let It Go." Oh god, and Megan, I miss you so much. I wish you were here. But it says, what percentage of OMI will you be taking profits? I guess it depends what I get up to. I mean, at 300 million, 003 is like 900K. I'll probably take a little bit there, maybe like 10%. It depends though on what other stuff is down or up at the time. It's really going to be contingent on those things. It says, I was so scared that I was getting kicked out of a military base. Yeah, that was wild. Was that the same trip? You only came once? You definitely came at least twice, maybe 3 times. Before I joined the stream, I told this girl the story of when you realized my memory was different, waiting to see if I'll be left on red or not. Did you send me something? Told this girl the story of when I realized your memory was different. Well, see, I feel like I don't know if I should tell this story, because if this girl is like, do you like her or do you like her like her? Sorry, I just saw a Hey Arnold clip the other day. I don't know if I should say the story, so I'm going to not until you tell me to. Megan says, wasn't it? But the second night we stayed. Oh, okay, yeah. I think that was. And then you came again in 2016. I went with Nick and before we started. Yeah. Well, you went with John Chan first, so it was you and John Chan the first time. Then the second time you came with Chan and Nick, and then we all went back to Long Island. And then there was another time where I don't know why Shisco wanted to go so bad. So I was on some type of, I had a week off. Yeah, because every holiday, like like you're either working Christmas or you're working New Year's, right? So I think it was 2015. You're and the week that you're working, you're on 12 hours. You are on 12-hour shift. There are no days off. So the commanders are just like, no days off, no whatever. So what we did was, half of the people would work from like the 20th to the 27th, and the other half would work from like 28th to like the 3rd or whatever, right? So half the people would get off for Christmas, half for New Year's. Now they had this thing called I forget what it was called, but halfway in during your week, you had to go back and sign in, just because they didn't want you leaving too far away from base. So in the middle of it, I had to go back, and I think it was Shisco, I think it was Elvis. Was it you, Megan? Like, they wanted to see like a military base. Like, okay, let's go in. And I went in, I signed in. I was like, okay, that's it. We can go. Like, what? That was it? I was like, yeah. And then we got Wawa. Bro, Wawa was so good. And then we went with Nick and I. Yeah, you did go. I think you went 3 times though. Oh yeah, the 6. All right, so it was. We were in 7th grade, and it was me, you. I think it was Caitlin Carew and Justin Pierce. And we were talking about our schedules from the year prior. And I was like, yeah, I don't know why I remember this. Like I had Radkey first period for like math, and then I had whoever I had second period and third, like whatever. And Justin was like, yeah, I think I had this, I had that, depending on what cluster you in. Caitlin Carew was like, I forget where I was. And then you're like, well, actually you were here first, then here second. And then we're like, hi, white. Like, this is when we knew you were like autistic as fuck. Because you knew everybody's schedules, and it wasn't like a creepy thing. It was just like, you just paid attention and you're like, oh, and it's just something that you did. It's not like you like got a printout and memorized. It's just like you knew, your mind knew where everyone was supposed to be, because of just when you go in the halls every day. And granted, we all probably knew, like, in 6th grade, like, oh, where is this person? Like, but you remembered the year after. And yeah, the fact that you remembered a year later was a big testament to the, like, damn, that is wild. However, I did win the 7th grade pie contest. 6th grade, I think 8th grade pie whatever year I won the pie contest, because I did this in like a half hour. I memorized like so many numbers of pi. Nobody else was even close. And that's when I knew I was on the TISM, what's that called? The spectrum. I didn't know at the time. Megan says, yeah, and Chan cock blocked me. Yeah, he did. He did. He did. He's a good one. We owe him for that. Man says, oh yeah, I remember that. We literally drove that. Yeah, all right. So it was me, you, Shisco, and who else? Who was John Chan? Was Nick? Who? Yeah, we drove there. I signed in. We got Wawa, and then we left. And I got a quart of milk from Wawa and cookies. And Chan thought Chan thought he was sharing the milk. Oh, Chanathan. Oh, I love him. It was me and Chan and Shisco. And oh, it was only 4 of us? Oh, so there was one time where Shisco, this was horrible. So it was one time, it was me, Shisco, and Elvis came to visit. And for some reason, I like fell asleep on my arms, like crisscross applesauce. And I wake up and like I fell asleep on my arms and I couldn't get up. And they were just punching me and my arms were asleep. I was like, no, guys, stop. And I just couldn't move. And it was like the worst thing ever. I don't know why they were just abusing me. 4 times then, because we went before you got deployed. Yeah, and then you went after. And then I like lived there for a while because I was living at this guy Bickham's place. That dude, that was so much fun because he had 2 dogs. He was in a band, and they would play real music, and then we would play Guitar Hero or Rock Band, and his Filipino wife cooked every day, and it was amazing. And what was it? It was yeah, it was just awesome. We just had the party house. It was great. And anyway, I'm trying to think. So what was I just talking? Oh yeah, so I lived in this guy Wolshan's house. Now, granted, when you deploy, most people they just they put their stuff in storage, or I left my place at Bickham's and I gave him. I think I paid his electric bill each month or whatever. He was great. I freaking love that guy. But Wolshan just like, he's like, hey, can you watch my apartment? And I was like, yeah, sure, Wolshan. You don't put your stuff in storage? Like, no, just have everything the same way it was when I came back. So I was like, okay. So I straight up lived in his place for like months. I get back from deployment, and it was so last minute. I'm in Kuwait still. He's on his way to Iraq. I see him in Kuwait, and he's like, hey, Chavez. He gives me a key. Like, can you watch my place? I was like, little last minute, don't you think? But yeah, okay. So I get back in, I think, August. I visit you at it was the old lady place. Oh god, what was the name of that place? Hallmark. I visit you at Hallmark. Then you and Nick and Chan come visit, and it's like, I think you and Nick like christened the bed, didn't you? Don't show this to Nate. Anyway, I lived with my friend Kim for a while. Wolfgang. I should have her on the podcast. I love her. And then I got out in December. I think I lived there until January. Moved in with my friend Mark, and then he was coming back in like February. So I had to pay my friend Ashley to come clean the place because I'm bad at it. And yeah, that was 2017 was wild times. I was on this quarter 15. I don't even know. I never even took. Well, I took a bunch of tests, and they all ranged from slightly to severely autistic. There was no test result that I got that said you're normal. As I got 40 digits in 6th grade, and someone else got 42. Ah, you were so close. I didn't even know who I had. Could have been a dude. It could have been a lady. You knew exactly who I got. And see, that's Ty's memory. Remember being so hungry and you had like wine and I didn't have more than that. We couldn't go to a Wawa. Was this the second time at Wilshon? Because at Wilshon's house, he had like food. I don't even think. Yeah, because I definitely don't drink wine. That must have been Kim's wine, because that was not my wine. Anyway, we never went. All right, some of the rest of this news here. Okay, Iran attacked nuclear sites. Went over that. President Trump does Fox completely obliterated Iran's. Yeah, okay, we went over that. Okay, so VeVe always seems to release characters the same time as Fortnite, and Fortnite is releasing Street Fighter stuff. So and we have the Street Fighter license, so I'm hoping we get that. I was talking about moonbirds before. Metaverse Man, 1,500 followers over on X, saying this rare gold moonbird just sold for 9 Ethereum. That is almost $20,000. And you have Crypto Cosmo saying, love to see things heating up with moonbirds. Get it? Because fire. I'll see myself out now. U.S. Army swore in 4 big tech executives as lieutenant colonels. Palantir CEO, Meta CTO, Palantir CTO, Meta CTO, OpenAI's CPO, and OpenAI's former CRO. All of these people are surely connected to Peter Thiel, Zuckerberg, Altman, and his proteges. What does this mean? Shall see. This is one of the greatest news I've ever seen. The internet and Fox News going at it to see who's worse. Retaliate. I have an announcement for daCAT that I'm going to announce, I think, on Wednesday. Oh lordy, I have a lot of. Oh god. Okay, sent me a snap. Wait, what? Non-executive advisor Betsy Rabbi. Betsy Rabbi is the CEO and co-founder of Utila, a pioneering digital asset infrastructure company at the cutting edge of secure and scalable blockchain technology. Since launching Utila in 2022, Betsy has positioned the firm as a global leader in safeguarding digital assets, leveraging a world-class tech stack designed to mitigate risks and ensure high standards of security. Betsy is collaborating with DFINITY to cross-pollinate and expand digital assets opportunities. Let's get this bread. I am not the only one that helps advise DFINITY. It is Betsy Rabbi. I'm going to call him, I think Rabbi is probably too. Betsy Rabbi. Yesterday, Gary O at 1234CA3 says 13 hours ago, I said, don't sleep on this one. Floor was 249. I just bought one at 129. The floor is now 989. And this is, oh God, I can't even tell what, maybe Ty can recognize what comic that is. But floors are heating up on VeVe. McFarlane Digital is back after quite some time has passed since their last drop. Many of us had feared that the next digital collectible platform would close its doors. But I hear San Diego Comic-Con, end of July, will be extra exciting for digital collectors. Happy to see them back and kicking, aka McFarlane Toys, that said Power Girl digital collectible drops on July 2nd, 2025 at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yo, what up, Connor? How's it going? Okay, let's go back to some of the news. Max Kaiser predicts Bitcoin will surge to $850,000. My God, that's a lot. Controversial take. Oh my God, this poor man. Digital Monkey says controversial take. Digital collectibles are better than physical because there's no dust, there's no fading, there's no lost boxes, and no lack of space. You can display them in the VeVeverse. And Kaki Gaijin says, I'll add these two in as well. Living abroad and no fear of having to move with a physical collection, which feels freeing, and living in an earthquake-prone country, no fear of losing collectibles to natural disaster. Gary O says, this post reminded me of this guy, very sad, lost 34,000 comic books in a wildfire. This was over on Canada News covered it. Michael Saylor is about to buy billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, but I can't breathe on them. That's true. You cannot breathe on digital. I guess on your phone you can go. Yeah, okay, so Ty sent me this, anything over 23 is autistic. What does my score mean? Or it says any score 26 or greater indicates the presence of autistic traits. Higher the score, the more autistic traits you have. This was one of the tests that I took, and it was definitely it was like 30. It was a lot. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Michael Saylor's buying billions worth more of Bitcoin. That makes sense. Ash Crypto Reels is breaking. Someone just bought 26,256 Ethereum worth $59 million on Binance. People keep selling their Ethereum to big whales, and this was as of this morning. So let's take a look and see what the OMI at 1857. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin. Hey, it's back up over 100. It's actually 100.9. Actually, almost up to 101 when it was down to like 98 something before. Let's go to Ethereum here. 2244. It was down to like 2100, low 2100s. And DEVVE is at and now it's at 37.8 cents. Should have got more at 34. And honestly, again, that could have been the bottom, or it could be World War III. We don't know. We don't know. Yes, that's true. You cannot breathe on digital collectibles. For significant, go over that another day. Additions. Okay, we have to go over the VeVe drop today. So they had the count, and I hope some of y'all looked up that dirty vid of the count. This is like the count censored, but obviously he doesn't need to be censored. He's Sesame Street. Let's take a look at what he did today. Out of, all right, and the uncommon. There's only uncommon and a secret rare. 1,184, 933. So that is 251. So do 251 times 30. $7,500 that they did. Let's say like another 20. So let's say 270 because the secret rare, right? Times 30. Little over $8,000. Really not a lot. Good night, Megan. I love you. Goodbye. Meow, 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 meow. Say hi to everyone. Meow. Anyway, the 80, little over $8,000. Not a ton. However, I think you have to give credit where credit is due. The first Sesame Street, I think, Cookie Monster had like 5,555 mints, which was a ton. And then it got better as it went on. You had Big Bird, you had Elmo, and you had lower and lower mints. And on this one, you had a very nice amount of mints, 1,234. And that was for the uncommon. The secret rare obviously had a lot less. It'll show me 234. I think they took 25 away, so it was like 209. So yeah, I think they did a really good job on mints, and the collectible looks fantastic. It looks incredible, but it's just, again, the demand really wasn't there. And how do you get people to care about this stuff? Again, it was beautiful. I think it was priced fairly, and you know, it had it had a chaser, the secret rare. Why did they only make $8,000 on this? Really not a lot. I think part of the reason is because it's just Sesame Street is great. Everyone knows what it is. I'm sure everyone, including me, has seen it. Like I don't want to say grew up on it, because by the time I was a kid, you know, there was cable, but my grandma did not have cable, so yeah, I had PBS as well. Iconic characters, everyone knows who they are. But when a lot of, especially men, age, you know, mostly in their mid-30s to mid-50s, not really hella excited about it. Maybe for their kids. RoboCop sold out. Mandalorian, well, certain Mandalorian collectibles sold out. Why did this one not sell out? Why did this one only make $8,000? Why did only like 251 of these sell? Maybe it was the price point. 30 gems. It might be a lot for some people right now, especially because the market, especially on today when the market's down. But also it's just that I see it coming. I see a lot of people buying things, and again, like, is that Moonbird that I showed before. Let me find it. Oh gosh. This Moonbird, a 2D JPEG. Granted, it has some super rare traits and it's in a community that's thriving. But that sold for $20,000. The count? I don't even know what the secret rare is going for. Let's take a look. And the count secret rare, there is 10 on, is $107. That is $107. That is, oh my god. So what is 2,200? What is that worth? 9 ETH. 19,800. So let's say 20K, right? Do you think that this, something nobody outside of Web3 knows what it is, but again, it is very rare. It is a rare gold Moonbird. Do you think that is worth more than, let me see if I can get a picture of this. Do you think that is worth 190 times what first appearance the count is? To some, apparently it is. That's what the market's saying. But I think there is a gross misunderstanding of where value comes from. And again, what I talked about before, people sending their first edition PSA 9 hollows and selling them for selling them for like $15 to $20. And then people, yeah, I think it's a gross misunderstanding where value comes from. In fact, I'm going to do a whole ass video on this. So I'll go over a little more news, and then I will. And again, like don't even use the count. Let's use Grogu, because Grogu actually sold out. So there's like a little bit of demand for him, right? And he's probably 200 something. 269. I'm commenting nice down below for 69. Let's see here. 79. 75. Yeah, like do you think that rare Moonbird is worth 75 times more than what Grogu should be? Again, I'll go over that at a later date. Where were we? Attention matter. Michael Saylor says nothing stops this orange. Mr. Heine from Heinecoin will be on the show tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from the last seat. And I have a very busy week. I got a lot of stuff going on. Tomorrow's going to be very busy. I will be live at 7 p.m. tomorrow, and then I'll be on the Oasis at 9 p.m. tomorrow. That's Max and Janie's show. And then on Tuesday, we got the big day on Tuesday. I have a bunch of meetings, but on Tuesday I have DeLorean Labs launches on Tuesday, the DMC token. And then I have David on at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, a lot of stuff going down. It's going down. I'm yelling timber, you better move, you better dance. Let's make a night. You won't remember, I'll be there. Iran plans to start the Hormuz, blocking 20% of the world's oil supply route. Is insane. That is bananas. $875 million was liquidated today from the crypto markets between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I repeat, $875 million was liquidated today from the crypto markets from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was wild. Thank you, Ty, for the autistic trait score. That is great. Okay. To the end, everyone cheers. Here's to the ones that we got. Here's to the ones that we wish you were here, but you're not. I don't like Coronas. I'm going to stick with my not your father's root beer. Anyway, guys, please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Megan, Ty, I heart y'all. I will catch y'all later. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you. I'm just waiting for the 2 hour to click on there. 3, 2, 1. Bye, guys. Meow. 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 Randy. Never mind.